All right, so if we could go back on the record. Ms. Mitchell, if you would introduce your witness, and then I will swear her in.
Yes, this is my wife, Nikki Calavides.
All right, if I could have you raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, if you may put your hand down. If I could have you state and spell your full name for the record, please.
Sure. It's Nikki, Nikki, Calavites, Kala, V as in Victor, T as in Tom, IS as in Sam.
Right, thank you. And Ms. Mitchell, did you want to ask her questions, or did you want her to just testify, make a statement?
Yeah, she also wrote a statement.
Okay, so we'll have you read your statement, and then just a reminder, as I mentioned to Ms. Mitchell, when we read something, we often talk faster than we normally do. But the court reporter is taking down your testimony. Also, the board members want to make sure they hear it all. So if you try to keep that in mind and keep the pace of your testimony on the slower side, that would be much appreciated. And whenever you're ready.
Sure. I promise it won't be as lengthy. So, yeah, dear members of the board, my name is Nikki and I'm Jen's wife, but today I'm here as someone who has witnessed firsthand her incredible transformation. True transformation isn't easy. It takes an incredible amount of self-reflection, strength, and willingness to do the hard work of change. And that's exactly what Jen has done. She has actively sought self-awareness, taken accountability for her past mistakes, and has worked tirelessly to reshape her behaviors and decision-making. This has not been an overnight process. It has required patience, persistence, and commitment, one she continues to show up for every single day. That same dedication extends beyond her personal development. It's also reflected in her work. Jen isn't just transforming herself, she's making a difference in the lives of others. Her commitment to growth hasn't just changed her, it has made her a stronger professional and a more compassionate listener. The impact she has on the people she works with is undeniable. I've seen the testimonials and messages submitted in evidence from her clients who trust her, value her, and are better because of her work. Her workplace recognizes this too. When things became difficult, they found ways to keep her on and create new opportunities that reflect their deep appreciation for her skills, her dedication, and the positive impact she has on those she's worked with. But while her commitment to change and impact is unwavering, the road to get here hasn't always been easy. Behind the scenes, the journey has come with immense challenges. We've faced moments of real struggle where we had to figure out how to make it work so Jen could get her license back to continue doing the things that she loves, the work that she loves. Through both her legal and board probations, we've encountered financial strain, not only in maintaining stability, but also meeting the costs of adhering to the required stipulations. These burdens have tested us in ways we've never anticipated, requiring constant adjustments, sacrifices, and resilience. And they have shaped our daily lives and forced us to put our long-term plans on hold. And I know that we're not the first to navigate these and not the last, of course, but those sacrifices have also extended beyond just the financial and professional hurdles. They have deeply affected our personal dreams as well. After unsuccessful attempts with IVF, we turned to adoption, hoping to grow our family. Unfortunately, Jen's legal probation prevented us from moving forward, adding to our sense of loss and frustration. And as you've heard, our dream of relocating to Europe has also been placed on hold. The responsibilities and restrictions tied to her probation have kept us rooted here, waiting for the day we can take that step. Despite these setbacks, we have adapted, endured, and continue pushing forward the best way we know how. But through it all, Jen has not only met every requirement, she has exceeded them. She has taken full responsibility, not just fulfilling the obligations placed upon her, but actively working to be better, implementing changes in her daily life, and proving through her actions that she is committed to lasting growth. She has honored every commitment and embodied the kind of transformation these processes are meant to inspire. She has become the best version of herself who is ready to move forward with integrity, purpose, and a future shaped by progress, not the past. We are very grateful for this opportunity to be here today and to share our journey with you. Jen has worked tirelessly to rebuild, to heal, and to demonstrate the person she is today. We hope you will recognize that growth and allow her the chance to move forward, free from the limitations of her past and with the opportunity to create a life that reflects the person that she has become. Thank you.
All right, is that all the testimony you wanted to provide at this time? Okay, Ms. Crawford, any cross-examination?
Yes, I have a few questions. What do you do for work?
I'm doing contract work right now. I work in operations for SaaS or software as a service companies.
Okay, so is it, you said software, so it's,
Software, yes, and
Okay.
software industry.
thank you. That's about the only thing I understood, is what you said. And so you're moving to Greece, is it for your job?
I'm doing a couple contract jobs, and one of them is with a organization or a company in England that has expressed bringing me on full time, and I have told them I am applying for my citizenship, and that is in the works. So it's not a definite thing, but it is potential, yes.
So what, if the job is in England, why would you go to Greece?
Because you can work anywhere in the remotely. It's a remote position. I work remotely.
Okay, I gotcha. And how long have you been married?
5 years, 5.5 years,
Okay.
5.5.
So in
2019.
2019, okay. So, and how long have you been together?
Ugh. I think it's a total of 9. I don't remember. We were on and off, so
Yeah.
9.
So with Miss Mitchell's DUI, which was she had a 0.35 blood alcohol level, that is pretty generally understood to be so high that most people would likely be unconscious. And this would indicate that, as Miss Mitchell has said herself, that she was pretty tolerant to alcohol because it was something she did do and drink to excess. Did you observe that during your relationship?
I mean, I think as Jen mentioned, it became normalized. I mean, I drink a lot less, but we were drinking and it didn't seem like it was something out of the ordinary until, as she's expressed, we've gone through this whole journey and process.
And how has your drinking changed?
For the record, I did not drink in the very beginning when Jen first went through this, so I was supportive in that way. I did not drink alcohol until she got to a place where she could, it was known that she could handle it. She was going to AA and doing all the things and it was comfortable, and she expressed that it was okay. So I don't drink nearly as much as I did. So hardly, to be honest.
Okay. Did you ever have the opportunity to bring to her attention some of her excessive drinking, or were you kind of in that same boat of the lifestyle you had was similar in how you drank?
Sure. I did bring it to her attention, and that is why I asked her to quit her job, because the stress of that job at that time was stressful, and I could see that it was impacting her and how she was coping with it, and it was causing huge challenges for her. And so that's why we did have her quit, and I supported her so she could focus on getting better.
And is this the job at the group home where she was the manager?
It was the one where she was managing, and she had the 2 departments and
Oh.
the people,
Okay.
when she was in the managerial role here in California.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Calvitis, any further testimony you wanted to provide at this time?
No, thank you.
All right, I'll check with the board to see if there's any questions. Mr. Chairperson?
Thank you for your testimony. No questions.
Dr. Boyd, any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Ms. Friedman? Mr. Huft?
No questions. Thank you for being here.
Ms. Ortega?
Questions to the witness or, okay, no.
Mr. Sovek?
No questions.
Ms. Uribe.
Oh, I was just curious. I know you said that you had uh, stopped drinking for a little bit and then she had said it was okay. Um, Had you ever considered not drinking at all? Just out of curiosity.
I did, yes, go through a point in support of Jen, but also to live in reality, that was that's something that we had to figure out on our own. So yes, it did occur to me at one point, but there also like, that wasn't something I was ready to give up. That was her challenge and what she had to work through, not mine. So like I said, I did quit for a while in support of that until we were both comfortable where it could be reintroduced.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, Dr. Walker, any
Thank you,
questions?
Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. No questions.
All right. Are there any further questions from the board? All right, seeing none, thank you very much for your testimony. You're excused as a witness. Ms. Mitchell, have you presented all the evidence you wish to present?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Crawford, closing argument?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Mitchell, your closing argument?
I don't have one.
Okay, so that concludes the hearing. The records records closed, the matter submitted, and we are off the record. Just a reminder, if you would have a seat in the audience to wait for the court reporter's form, he'll have that for you shortly. And that's, again, just in case you wanted to get a copy of today's transcript that will have the information you need to go about ordering a copy. Once you receive that, if you'd please exit the room, we'd appreciate it because I believe the board will meet in closed session shortly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Thank you. We'll recess for 5 minutes while we close out or while we move to closed session. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for your patience as we went through our closed session. We have 2 more items on our agenda before we recess for the day. Next item is our discussion and possible approval of,
Oh, sorry, consent. Yeah.
yes, discussion and possible approval of the November 14th, 15th, 2024 board meeting minutes. Does any member wish to remove or edit any items from the consent calendar? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'm trying to pull up the item so I can have do you have it? Trying to get to the title, the correct title. Oh,
Second.
It's a discussion item number 10.
right. But we have to do it in a certain, okay. Motion to approve the November 14th and 15th, 2024 board meeting minute. Right.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Susan seconds. Perfect. Any further discussion? We have no audience members in the room with us. Moderator, do we have any discussion from our remote participants?
Let us find out. We are open for public comment on WebEx for agenda item 10. And the motion before us. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand. And for our mobile device users, you may need to hit the ellipses button, that's the ... in order to find your hand. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue with the motion?
Yes, thank you, moderator. Okay, Christina, would you take the vote?
Yes.
Dr. Nick Boyd,
Yes.
Annette Walker,
Yes.
Dr. Annette Walker, Eleanor Uribe,
Yes.
Susan Friedman, John Sovek,
Abstain.
Wendy Strack,
Yes.
Chris Jones,
Abstain.
Justin Huff,
Yes.
Abigail Ortega.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you, Christina. And now I will hand it over to our executive officer for his report.
Good afternoon. I will be doing the executive officer report, going over the board functions since the last quarter, the first quarter. This will be the second quarter report for fiscal year 24-25. The board's budget currently is at $14,061,000. The expenditures to date have been around $5.3 million. You can see there the breakout for personnel service, operating expense, enforcement, and exams in the report. Currently, right now, we have a reserve fund that reflects 18.1 months. We will be discussing that more tomorrow. Just wanted to note that some of the changes to our budget that might occur in the May governor's budget may revise. As you know, there has been some reductions to the funds, and that kind of shows you that we are looking at a reduction of 98,000 in personnel services and 84,000 in what's considered vacant positions. It really is not affecting our positions, but we have looked for funds to satisfy that. We still have a really healthy budget, so it's not really affecting us too much.
Steve, I have a question on that, though.
Yes.
What's our general target for a reserve?
Oh, general target for reserve, we can't go past 24 months. That's what we are, that's the cap. We would want to try to stay maybe, I think, 8 to 12 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're pretty over that, I guess.
So we'll be talking about that tomorrow. There's, we have to, at 24 months, we have to actually make a decision on how we can, reduce that. So.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to ask about that. Okay.
Yep.
I'll wait for tomorrow.
It'll be a good discussion tomorrow. And so on to staffing, Zach Beauchamp has been promoted to a licensed analyst within the registration unit. And we had Cynthia Burnett, we'll be discussing her tomorrow too, Staff Service 1 Manager. She has retired. We have Mary Cotto, a Management Service Technician in our exam unit. She has retired. It's all these retirees. And then Ann Glassmoyer. She was a special investigator with our Consumer Complaint Unit. She has retired. So currently, the board has 3 vacancies. And we have asked Personnel Services for a limited term managed service technician to be a registration evaluator. That's kind of to replace Zach moved over into a different position, and we just want to continue on the efficiencies that we've had so far in the registration unit. So those limited term positions means that they're good for 2 years, and at that point we can justify if we have the funds enough to actually keep those moving forward. Historically, that's been the case. So we're looking at just to maintain those processing times, getting that limited term position in there. So licensing update in the second quarter of the fiscal year, we issued a total number of 5,527 new registrations/licenses, which brings our total to 147,000 approximately, and that represents a 2% increase since the first quarter. We continue to increase in licensees. The applications received for the second quarter was 26% less than the first quarter. I mean, that's because of the graduation season's over. We will see that. There was some slight increases in, you can see in the report, maybe slight increases in some of the applications. Processing times in general, we're doing good. And I wanted to note that the license applications for clinical exam, the LMFT and LCSWs, have actually been decreasing. So we are right around that cap of 60 days, or I think actually possibly lower now. So kudos to not only the registration team, but also to the licensing evaluators. You're doing a great job on bringing those application volumes down. Thank you. Examination update. We administered 6,254 exams in the second quarter, which is an average of 4.2% increase from the previous quarter. We held 3 examination development workshops and conducted in person. These workshops were concentrating on the LEP examination, the LMFT clinical examination, and the LPCC law and ethics examination. We also have some updates in the exam world. The LMFT clinical exam as of January 1st, 2025, the waiting period for LMFT clinical exam was reduced from 120 days to 90 days. We've been waiting for that for a long time. And the way we were able to do that is OPS worked hard to make sure we have enough, questions and pool of questions so that we could do that. So they were the last, that was the last exam that we really have gone forward to finally 90 days. Now we're all in line for all exams, so that's nice. There was a change to the ASWB exam vendor. This was previously we had reported this in the first quarter or maybe the last quarter of 23-24. ASWB had transitioned to PSI. They actually went back to go to Pearson VUE. So that was we were happy for that. So we're going to be transitioning into the new exam. We're going to transition for the ASWB exam. The transition will be from March 16th and March 30th. And the exam team will make sure that there's no hiccups and that the exam candidates aren't affected. So they are working on that. The enforcement update. In the second quarter, the board received 485 consumer complaints, 212 criminal convictions. We closed 516 cases and 12 cases were referred to the Attorney General's office. The average processing times for formal discipline completion is 486 days, and for investigations are typically around 62 days right now. We are still within our timeframes and doing really good in those processing times. Education and outreach section, we have social media engagements I have listed there. I'm hoping, I think I might have said this at every single board meeting, to get more metrics so that we can kind of show you not just the followers. But that being said, we still have an increased following on Facebook and Instagram. And in during this last quarter, we conducted 10 outreach events. And we still encourage anybody out there, any stakeholder that would like to have an outreach event, a presentation by us, please, you can use the email that we have. It's bbsoutreach@dca.ca.gov. That is on our website too. Organizational effectiveness, under that, we are looking at, we are still working on putting the AMFT registrant applications online. And currently we're going through a testing phase to make sure it's a data testing phase to make sure that all the data will transition appropriately. So we are getting closer. Once that is done and the system looks like it's going to work, then the AMFT registration applications will go online. Once we see how that works, we're kind of stepping into that lightly, so we're not having to deal with, if there's any major problems, we don't want that to affect, a larger group. Once those are in place, then we'll move on to the APCC and ASW registrant applications and put those online. And also for under the organizational effectiveness, the Consumer Information Office answered 3,141 calls for us with an average wait time of 50 seconds. And additionally, staff responded to 3,558 emails. Oh, and the strategic plan update is in the packet for your review. Any questions?
Steve,
No, thank you for the report, Steve.
Steve, I have a couple questions. I'm sorry, real quick.
Oh, Nick.
Oh, I forgot Nick.
Do you know if the Breezy will be up and running for all registrations by May of this year? Does that seem reasonable, or do you have like a timeline roughly?
I would like to give a timeline. I know there's a lot of staff and people that are doing testing around with eyes looking at me right now, because I'm very optimistic and I actually was hoping that it was going to go online earlier. May would be ideal. I can't give any guarantees, but realistically, that's when we would want it to happen, right around before the graduation period or starting there. I unfortunately can't give any guarantees. I apologize.
That's okay. And do you know about how long after AMFT that it will be available for the other licensees? Other
The transition will
registrations?
definitely be shorter because we currently, with the design that we have in the system, we already have been working on the design for the ASW and APCC, so it should be, I don't know what you want to call fairly quick turnaround. I'm hoping we could actually get more information, but I would hope 2-3 months from that period. But once again, I can't make any guarantees on that. So
And do educational psychologists also use Breezy? Are they able to do what they need to do through there, or would this only be limited to MFT and APC and ASW?
no, they'd use Breeze too. And
They do,
it's a
right?
little bit
Okay.
different. We were focusing on the registration applications because of that's where our heaviest volumes are.
Mhm.
Plus, technically it's a little bit simpler. That's just an application, and we have to get the transcripts and another additional document. So it was easy to transition to that. The next thing that we're going to be looking at, we are making this. This is tied with a whole bunch of system changes we're making in the background that is going to allow us now to look at putting the license applications for licensure for the clinical exam, and it would also work for LEP online also. So
Nice.
that is the goal.
Okay. And then just one last question is I think I saw the breakdown per quarter for the number of supervisors that were certified. I don't know that I saw the total number. Do we have the total number of supervisors?
I can start including that in there. Yes, we do. I haven't looked at it in a while. I want to say, don't quote me on this, it's around 30,000.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be great if we could include that. Thanks.
Sure.
All right, thank you, Nick. Any other questions from the board? All right, any comments or questions from our remote participants?
We are open for public comment on agenda item 11. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise a hand by tapping that hand button at the bottom of the screen. Dial-in users, dial *3 to raise your hand, and we will call on people in the order we have requests. We're going to take just a few seconds now to see if we have a request for public comment. Seeing no request for public comment, do you wish to continue?
Yes, thank you, moderator. All right, and with that, we have concluded our business for the day. I want to thank everyone for participating. We are going to recess until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.